Joining me now is Tobin, head of politics and policy at Wolfe Research. We saw Friday. We understand how important China is, and we can do a lot of. We could even do India in terms of trade deals. But the big elephant in the room has always been China, Tobin, and it's been kind of a Tolstoy novel, watching what's going on, citing a Russian. But started out in March, looked bleak. A lot of really bellicose language back and forth on trade, and then everything's sort of quieted down. What happened after that initial détente that we reached? Did we add some export controls? What caused China to do that with the rare earth, with the rare materials?
So, I think there's multiple motivations for the move that we saw last week to dramatically expand their rare earth export controls. It is, on the one hand, they've positioned it as retaliation for some U.S. moves, both these new fees that we imposed on Chinese vessels at ports, but I think more importantly, our expansion of what's called the entity list to apply it to subsidiaries also, which effectively applied U.S. export controls to thousands more Chinese entities. They were pretty upset about that. They thought it broke the kind of informal understanding that neither side was going to be doing new restrictive stuff after the last round of talks in Madrid. So that's one motivation. But I think it also is something they've clearly been planning for more than just a few weeks. So I don't think it's just a response to that. I think it's an effort to add pressure to the U.S. To try and get the tariffs fully removed. These sort of truces that we've managed to get in place since May are still somewhat asymmetric. Like the tariffs that we have on them are much higher than the tariffs they have on us. And I don't think they're fully satisfied with what they've been able to achieve so far.
Well, that was the rare earth materials and the way that they instituted those controls at, 0.1%. That was a shot across the bow. People characterized it as almost nuclear war on an economic front. So they had to expect something like Trump's response. I was surprised that it softened so much over the weekend. Are we really, is it all just theater between both countries?
So I certainly don't think it's theater. I think Trump is trying to project calm towards an outcome that we don't have yet. I think there's a clear commitment to talk. We have staff level talks have resumed already. I think both sides sort of realize after getting through that period in April that it's not sustainable for anyone to have sort of catastrophic.
So you expect a positive outcome, but at the same time you point out it's as tenuous as it's been since March.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's not theatrical in the sense that there is an actual issue. It needs to actually get solved. But I do think that we will probably get there. I think getting there gets us back to a truce. I don't think that we're, really within sight of this sort of big deal that lots of people have been speculating about going back to last year. Maybe we can get some huge Chinese investment, get the tariffs fully removed. That looks pretty remote to me. But I do think we'll be able to get the truce
quickly back. on the shutdown. You think it's a mistake for Republicans to go with really large layoffs and closures of agencies? That comes back.
I do.
You do?
Yeah. So I think on the one hand, it's something that the administration has shown they don't really want to do. They ordered agencies to prepare for these massive reductions in force way back in February when DOGE was at its peak. They haven't really gone through with that. So I think that goes to show that they see some risks there. But from my perspective, right now, the shutdown is not really impacting people. You have things starting to show up, like air traffic delays from air traffic controllers doing stickouts because they're not getting paid. But for the most part, it's something that markets and ordinary people are able to shrug off. If you use this as an excuse to go and start truly large scale firings that really are optional, I think that both takes ownership of it in a different way and sort of creates self-inflicted consequences in a different way. For now, I think Trump is happy sort of riding high on peace deals, confronting this emergent situation on China and letting Democrats spin their wheels.